What's up guys, today I would like to tell you about the BIOLITE Headlamp 750. Up until this point I have been using the Black Diamond Spot and the Nathan Halo Fire as my headlamps. The BIOLITE Headlamp 750 has been a huge step up in performance and power and just about everything that goes into a headlamp. Before, when I would do an ultra that would go through the night, I needed both headlamps because I needed a backup. The Black Diamond Spot even takes 3 AAA batteries. I guess that kind of tells you how long I've had this one for. But it's not needed with the Headlamp 750, and I'm going to tell you why in just a few minutes. BIOLITE was kind enough to send me the Headlamp 750 for review, however there was no other expectations, and what you guys see are strictly my opinions on this headlamp. Let's start off with price. The BIOLITE Headlamp 750 retails for $99.95. Now that is definitely not the cheapest headlamp out there, but when you guys see all the features, you are going to agree with me that it is $100 well spent. And I haven't even used this headlamp for all the purposes that it could be used for better than what I'm using it for. I'm going to be telling you about this headlamp from a runner's perspective. I've been running with this almost every day. 90% of my runs are done in the dark, so I have really been enjoying running with a new headlamp. Let's talk about form factor first. So we do have the main unit on the front with the light. The light does articulate up and down so you can point it at the trail or the road in front of you. In the back, we have the battery unit. Now, if you're like me, you may be wondering, do I really want to run with a battery unit on the back and a light on the front? But let me just put your concerns to bed. I did not notice anything detrimental to having the battery pack on the back of my head. Now, I've only used headlamps in the past that have the light on the front, but having the battery pack on the back of the unit, instead of having them in the actual lamp on the front, it actually makes it better for weight distribution. So while BIOLITE does claim this thing weighs 5.3 ounces, actually when I put it on my scale it was 5.4 ounces, it feels considerably lighter than that when it's on your head because of the weight distribution. Alright, let's go over the specs because that is what makes this headlamp particularly exciting. Now, it is called the Headlamp 750, and if you haven't already guessed, that is because it goes up to 750 lumens. 750 lumens, if you don't know, is pretty bright. However, those 750 lumens are only available in burst mode. Burst mode is a special mode that is activated by one of the buttons on the battery unit on the back. So what I'm going to do now is just turn on the headlamp. Now I've got it on the red light, but right now I'm going to reach back and turn on burst mode. 750 lumens coming right at you. Now I can see on the camera that you guys really can't see anything, but it's pretty bright. If you don't reach back and turn it off, it will time out in 30 seconds. And that is pretty fantastic. So when I've been running, and guys, just so you know, I did take the camera out with me while I was running, but still it's very hard to take night footage from my perspective. It just doesn't come out very well on the GoPro. But when I was running and I caught a glimpse of deer in the distance, I could turn on that burst mode and it just lights up the whole scene. That burst mode is pretty special. Let's talk about the regular modes that you are going to use on a daily basis. So first I'm going to turn it off, then I'm going to turn it on to the first mode, which is a red floodlight. Now to switch between modes, you need to press the one button on the top of the lamp every half second. If you don't, when you go to press it again, it turns off the lamp. We're going to quickly run through the different modes that you can access on the lamp. Are you ready? We have red flood, white spot, white flood, combo strobe, and off. But get this, every one of the modes on the front are dimmable. If you press and hold the button on the front, the light dims. That even includes the red light. Now, while the red light on the front is probably pretty useless for running, imagine you're camping. Imagine you're in your tent and you want to keep your night vision. You can turn on the red light and you can read by it. It doesn't have to be a glaring red light. You can turn it right down to the minimum brightness. Pretty ideal. It opens it up to a wide range of options. But let's not forget, I'm going to turn this off on the front now. I've just told you about the front light. We've also got the battery pack on the back. I feel 100 times safer with this headlamp on than I do any other time. Running without a light, running with just a headlamp, because they've incorporated a light into the battery pack on the back. And we have two options. We have the strobe red light and then we have the full-on red light. And just like the front, this is dimmable. If you press and hold the button in the back, it makes it dimmer. Okay, the next part of this video is very important. It's very important, especially if you already have one of these. Let's say you just bought one and for some reason you've decided to watch a YouTube video on the headlamp after you've bought it. Now, the Headlamp 750 does have a lock mode, and this is very important to know about because it will be shipped to you in lock mode. If you just grab this thing out of the box and try and turn it on, it's not going to turn on. But that's to protect you, it's to protect the light, it's to stop the batteries from going down if inadvertently while it's in your pack it presses the button and then the light's on and then you pull it out and it doesn't work. The lock mode is easily turned on and turned off by pressing the button on the top for 8 seconds. You'll see it flash a couple of times to tell you that it's locked. Then, whenever you press the button, it just flashes a couple times, and that's telling you that it's in lock mode. So it isn't going to turn on in your pack and waste all the battery. You can also lock it and unlock it from the button on the back. And just like the front button, when you press the back button, it flashes twice to tell you it's in lock mode. The next super important thing, if you already have this, is the adjustment. So I'm going to put it on, and listen, I learned this the hard way, because let me just put this up to the camera. We can see that we have these clips, these adjustment clips, and I was like, it's a little big for me. Let me take it off and kind of pull one piece through and pull another piece through. And I thought it was really awkward. Like it's always user error with me. If I had just read the instructions, which I don't know who does that, but if I just read the instructions, I would have found out that you adjust it when it's on your head. So if you need to adjust it, make it looser, make it tighter, if you put it on your head and then just slide these things forward, it makes it tighter so easily. Like, it's unbelievably easy to tighten it on your head. But you try and do it when it's not on your head and you're like fumbling, trying to pull two things at the same time. It's a real mess. Just put the lamp on your head, pull the things, tightens it beautifully. Okay, are you ready to hear what makes the Headlamp 750 better than most everything else out there? Look, it's very bright. It lights up everything. It feels good on your head, but that doesn't separate it from the rest. What separates it from the rest is that there are two modes. There's constant mode and regulated mode. And get this, almost every other headlamp out there operates in regulated mode. And what does that mean? Well, it means when you have a full battery and you turn it on, the light dims as the battery level goes down. So if you buy a headlamp that has 500 lumens, let's say, you are not going to get that 500 lumens maybe more than for a couple of minutes. As the battery goes down, the lumens start dropping. Now, just like everything else, the Headlamp 750 does have regulated mode. That is the normal mode that it's put in. However, it also has constant mode. Constant mode keeps the brightness at the exact same level that you choose it until it can't hold that level anymore, and then it goes down to reserve power mode. So let's say you're running on the trail and you go out and you want the full brightness, which is 500 lumens, and you want to keep that on as long as possible. You want to see 500 lumens all around you. This headlamp set on high and in constant mode will keep 500 lumens, illuminating everything around you for 2 hours. That's pretty good, especially for you and me when we're going out on our normal daily runs. You know, our normal daily runs are not going to be over 2 hours. So potentially, if you are going running at night or early in the morning before the sun rises, you can have 500 lumens constantly the whole time. We've got this big battery pack in the back, so let's talk about battery life next, because BIOLITE claims that on high, this headlamp will last for 7 hours, and then you've still got an 8-hour reserve. Get this, on low is 5 lumens, so it's not very bright, but let's say you're in an emergency and you just need a little bit of light. I can't even wrap my head around it. 150 hours. You could get lost in the wilderness for days and you would always have light to see by. But don't get lost in the wilderness for days. There are probably a few other things that you'd have to worry about rather than your headlamp. There are 2 reserve modes. Well, there's one reserve mode and then there is a pre-reserve mode. In pre-reserve mode, if the light is above 100 lumens, it will drop that light to 100 lumens and it will flash 4 times every minute for 10 minutes. At the end of 10 minutes, it moves from pre-reserve mode into reserve mode. This is fantastic. You're not going to be surprised by your light just going out or dimming. You are going to know it's coming. You're going to have 10 minutes to prepare. Then it drops into reserve mode. The reserve mode is 5 lumens. And that's bright enough to do pretty much all the stuff that you want to do. I mean, I wouldn't be running on the trails with 5 lumens lighting the way. If it was an emergency and I was like digging around for grubs and berries and nuts, 5 lumens is really going to help. Let's say your battery's getting down and you're out on the trails, you're hiking through the night, or you're running an ultra marathon and you're running through the night and you want the light on bright all the time, but the battery just isn't going to last the whole night. The Headlamp 750 does feature a pass-through charging mode, so you can charge it with your power bank and have the light on. BIOLITE even includes a 3-foot cord so you can plug it into the back of your headphone and then have the other end in your power bank. And this is particularly neat. There is this little plastic clip on the cord so you can clip it to your pack so you can control the cord. I mean, no one wants a cord flying around when you're running, and you won't, because they've thought of this. They've thought of this little plastic clip to clip it to your pack. Genius. So as far as water resistance, the BIOLITE Headlamp 750 is rated IPX4, which means it can withstand splashes from any direction. You do not want to go swimming with this thing. You do not want to submerge it. There is a micro USB charging port on the back with a little rubber gasket that just covers the ingress port. It seems It seems pretty secure. IPX4 is about the minimum that I would feel comfortable going out in, just because you can get caught in a shower and you're not going to ruin your headlamp. And of course I don't have to worry about sweating so much and ruining it. Here in Florida, that is a real problem. Now, I did already mention how well balanced this thing is, but I should just mention how comfortable it is. The material around the actual headlamp is a moisture wicking material. It lays against your forehead very comfortably. Obviously, I'm going out and it's very warm here. I sweat profusely. Didn't have any problems with it slipping. It just feels good against my head. The rear battery pack is curved and you've got the band running right over it, so it's very soft against the back of your head. Why don't you guys join me in the studio? Now, I haven't really been filming in here recently just because I have kind of made my office the studio space rather than sitting in my closet. And if you remember, the only reason I came to the studio was when I had coronavirus and I was locked in the bedroom, and the only place I could film was my closet. Let's just run through some of the settings. So I am going to slowly dim my light until it's off. And boom. And I'm not going to go through all the settings like the dimming, but I am going to show you the dimming on the red light. So I'm pressing and holding the button, dims like a champ, and there it goes right back up again. If I take longer than half a second to press the button, the camera's going to go off. And I'm going to move through all the settings by pressing the button at half-second increments. Yes, I realize this is a little creepy, but this is how I want to show you the different modes. I do have the headlamp pointing down as far down as it will go. If I don't do that, when I turn it to the white light, it's going to be blinding in the camera. Then we have the white spot, the white floodlight, the combo strobe, and off. This is actually a really different sort of light. Maybe I should film all my videos like this. I don't know how good of an example this actually really is. Let's just look around the studio. It lights it up pretty well. It really does light up very well. And when you're running, it's a pretty good headlamp. $99.95. I will put an affiliate link below. Go ahead and check it out. Okay, quick question before we go. When you run at night, do you wear a light? Do you wear a headlamp? Do you wear anything else that kind of lights you up, makes you seen to traffic? Let me know what you use in the comments below. Thanks for staying all the way to the end of the videos. New videos at least twice a week. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.